Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Joe Scarice, live on Clubhouse, live on the podcast, the Creative Birth Strategies podcast, every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing education, networking, and strategy. We try to put some stuff together, get things rocking and rolling here today. We're going to invite some peeps in. We'll do that first. Mr. Bob Cheswick at the top, right there. Good morning.
Good morning.
You sound so ecstatic of being here today.
Yeah, I jumped right in. I jumped right in at the beginning. Go figure.
So we're going to get into SEO strategies, marketing strategies for your brand today. So I'm pretty excited about that because, as you know, I've been working on a lot of social media stuff with Yordell and Percatech and our team in just getting our brand out in so many different ways. Between the lending, between the podcast and the events. We're trying to stay relevant and staying abreast of a lot of stuff. So we're going to get here. Can we just get started here? Just a few minutes. Just kind of bang this out here quick. Get some people up here. Whew. All right. So good morning, everyone. Joe Scarice, nationwide direct private lender, providing DSCR, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, new construction, multifamily, single family through four family, as well as unsecured business lines of credit for real estate professionals nationwide. We have this podcast here every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We now do once a month mastermind podcast with an individual as well, second Saturday of the month. We're hovering right as close to 150 episodes. We're still working, trying to get there. We'll be doing a little celebratory podcast for the 150th episode. All our episodes are on the creativebirthstrategies.com website. We just posted all the testimonials and all the pictures and video from the white label course in November, both on my personal website as well as the podcast website. Today's subject is about SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand 2026. I wouldn't be here from a social media perspective 10 years later, after meeting Yordell Perkins of Percatech. We're still doing a lot of work behind the scenes, working on a website, working on websites, we're working on my brand, uh, promotions, newsletters. There's always something to go. So everybody's trying to figure their space out. And I think hopefully we'll try to narrow in that discussion here this morning. I want to thank a couple people this morning that always are here to support or provide. Obviously, our moderators, of course, but two, Percatech, Yordell Perkins, our social media architect, social media strategist, kind of puts it all together for me. I want to cannot thank him enough. Definitely reach out to him for a one-on-one. I want to thank MB Capital, who has supported me from the as a referral partner, providing unsecured business lines of credit for real estate professionals and business to business individuals throughout the country. I'd like to thank Linda, who popped in here this morning at Realty 411. She's been, advocate for our podcast, and we're now interviewing a lot of her vendors that are part of Realty 411 as well. I think we have one scheduled coming in February, which I'm excited about. So we try to do that at least once a month with a one of Linda's guests. And I want to thank Real Estate Mastermind Strategies. We are now in Philadelphia every month, North Jersey and the Newark, New Jersey area, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, as well as Lehigh Valley. We have all our calendars set up in my website, and we have a white label course coming up in New York City at the Compass corporate office in January. So take a look out for that. We had 35 people at the last class. I was really excited about that class. I'd like to see probably about 20, 25 people there. It'd be nice to see everybody in January to get really rocking and rolling. A lot of opportunities that were provided in the white label course as well, and giving insight for people to really take their business to the next step. And let's just get a quick update on the market before we get into our subject today, which I love right now. Mortgage rates just off about 2-week lows. I mean, we're hovering around. I mean, on the DSCR side, you're probably anywhere between, for a max LTV refinance or purchase, you're probably somewhere between 6.5 and 7.25, depending on credit, DSCR, the asset type, single family through four family. I see rates in that 5+ unit space in the multifamily side, somewhere in the sevens to late eight. All 30-year money, of course. There's 40-year money out there, and there's also 10-year interest only money. On the construction side, rehab construction and or new construction, we're seeing a very aggressive move by a lot of lenders, us included at Lend Investors Capital. We're going. I've seen people going as high as 95% on purchase, 100% on current construction, 75% loan to value and after repair value. You're seeing rates start at 8.375 right now. It's getting extremely aggressive. I see fix and flip, fix to rent, and new construction in the first quarter being a really big piece of the real estate industry pie on the investor side. The numbers are showing it. So I think we're going to have a really strong investor first quarter. The Fed really didn't make any impact to the rates with their announcements. Home sales are not that exciting right now. Obviously, we're in the last piece of the year. Seeing days on the market going up a little bit. Seeing prices kind of stay as is or even dropping a little bit on some areas. It'll be interesting as we get into the first quarter, as we get closer to May and Fed Powell position and the Trump administration, what will happen and how that will react. I mean, I think rates will bake in that drop in the rate from the new announcement of the new Fed chair probably around April. Maybe March, April, you'll start seeing some of the rates come down a little bit, about a quarter to a half a point. I don't think we're going to get into the fives on the commercial lending space for real estate investors. We might see hovering 6.25. I think we're wishful thinking if we think we're going to get into the fives or high fours or mid fives. I don't think that's just not going to be here. There'll have to be some major factors that might change some things. Consumer sentiment has lowered actually going into December. So as November home sales struggle, as supply stalls. So it'll be interesting to watch how we go into the first quarter. And again, I don't think we're going to have massive rate cuts. I think we're going to see gradual. I think, our landing in the housing market, I think we're going to be in a medium landing. It'll all determine how the Fed reacts and the market reacts to the new Fed chair, I think, by May. So that's interesting. Updates on the mortgage side. Some interesting articles that caught my eye this past week. Adaptive reuse for apartments, hotels surged to new records, meaning there's a lot of conversions going on, meaning a lot of rental inventory coming to the market. I can tell you for a fact, I think there's a gluttony of rental availability in Philadelphia, like a lot of these other urban cities. There's just a lot of rentals. So the rent amounts, the loan amounts are going down. Days on the market are going up. Very interesting to see with these conversions where things go. I went to look at a couple of units last afternoon, Jersey Shore. There was 8 condo units in one building, maybe 9 available. That's a lot, for a building, right on the beach, actually. So it'll be interesting to watch how that justifies across the nation on a lot of this adaptive reuse for buildings that are no longer working for them, whether it's an office, retail, or hotel converting to apartments, or even some of these casinos that are out there in the market that I have a feeling they're going to turn into condotels. I think that's coming or here already. So we'll see how that impacts the market over the next year. One other article that caught my eye, housing market forecast hints at a more balanced inventory recovery in 2026. I do agree with that. The predictions out there are a more stable housing market in 26, but it's still very early. Home prices are expected to grow slightly by 2.2%, but mortgage rates are expected to average out around 6.3, relieving some of the burden on affordability. Sales of existing homes would increase by about 1.7 to, but a modest, significant increase from a nearly 30-year low in 2025. So I think your for sale inventory will also keep improving, rising by over about 9% within the year. So it'll be interesting to watch that. So let's dive into, social media strategies for your real estate brand, right? In 26, SEO isn't a tactic, it's your positioning. Your brand doesn't win because it ranks for a keyword. It wins because the right people already believe you're the authority before they ever reach out. The investors, the agents, the lenders, operators who dominate 2026 understand one thing: search engines reward clarity, consistency, and credibility, not noise. So SEO is now an identity, not keywords. Who's publishing consistently? Who's answering real estate investor questions? Who owns a niche clearly? If your brand doesn't stand for something specific, you won't rank, even with great content. Authority content beats volume. Posting daily fluff won't move the needle. What works is long form insights, blogs, podcasts, newsletters, market specific analysis, lending and investing frameworks, real case studies and breakdowns. Ask yourself, would an investor save this? Would a broker forward this? Would this still matter in 12 months? You know, the niche dominance, broad visibility. In 26, the strongest real estate brands are category owners, not generalists. You know, I'll give you a great example. The DSCR plus portfolio lending guy, right? So, or the Philly investor capital strategist, or the white label lending educator, the midterm rental financing authority. SEO is built across platforms. LinkedIn is through thought leadership, podcast episodes and show notes, YouTube transcripts, event pages, guest appearances, backlinks from trusted ecosystems. And signals are now new backlinks. Real testimonials, like we just posted 7 video testimonials from the white label course on our website, on my website, josephvscaris.com, and creativeburststrategies.com. We'll have it in the next day or so. Consistent branding, clear positioning, predictable content and themes, longevity of the message. Build once, compound forever. The smartest operators in 26 will create a cornerstone content, repurpose it everywhere, and stack authority month after month. SEO becomes a flywheel, not a grind. While others chase trends, your brand will compound. In 26, SEO doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the clearest message, the most consistent presence, and the most trusted authority. If your brand disappeared tomorrow, would the market notice? That answer determines your SEO future. So things to think about as we get into this, and I want you to think about how to separate your SEO brand from all the other real estate professionals out there, right? It's about stop ranking for real estate, own your investor intent, build a vertical authority brand, and turn your content into an operating system, and build a proof-based SEO brand, case studies with numbers, deal breakdowns, market shifts you predicted correctly, real investor outcomes. Create local market intelligence pages. Marry SEO plus video plus podcast transcripts. Build search gravity through community. Like I'll give you a great example. I reached out to all the neighborhood associations that had an email availability in their neighborhoods in about 6 small cities throughout New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Delaware. I just sent an email with a video, bomb video, and introduced myself and let them know what I was looking to do, how I want to get involved with investors in affordable housing in their markets, whether it's new construction, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, or long-term money. I already got 4 responses. Hey, I want you to come down to our neighborhood association and do a brief introduction to the group. I didn't know these people before that email. I put a nice bomb video to it, put a little overview of who I am, and it made the difference. Build a personal brand and a platform brand. Like everyone that's listening in, why do you not have a newsletter on LinkedIn and followers to your newsletter? Okay, repeat traffic is so key. I get probably 1 to 2 inquiries by recruiters just because of my content through my newsletter, people looking for me to come and work for them. It's an amazing feeling. You never turn down an interview, but what I'm saying is it's always very interesting. Hey, I just read your article, very captivating. Would you like to discuss an opportunity with our company? They came to me, I didn't go to them. You got to create the inbound lead traffic with your SEO brand. Position yourself as the interpreter, not the seller. Okay, humans want interpretation, right? So bottom line, before we get to our moderators, of course, SEO dominance isn't about keywords, it's about ownership. Own your niche, own a strategy, own a market, own a narrative, and search will follow you. So we go ladies first, of course, as always. Good morning, Amy. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion. SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand 2026. You there, Amy? Good morning. Yep.
Morning. I'm the corporate counsel. I'm also a real estate developer. Well, I'm a real estate developer and investor. I've been doing that. I mean, since real estate since 2003, and investing since 2008. I will, so I would I have children. The ability to create content has never been easier. And how you market yourself these days. People can eat. The market you have to have today is economically lower than it used to have to be. If even so, essentially, as might be, really make a difference with business. And you can use AI in cool ways to help you do something for you. Noise. A lot along with if I were gonna give you advice, I would just say what to do is that really need to kind of market you market them. That's on reach because if you do, waste a lot of time on
So, you've done this podcast on LinkedIn for what, a year now?
yeah.
Do you feel like the Prop Tech Council has shaped within that podcasting that you've done? Like, do you feel like that, like you could almost single finger, like, hey, LinkedIn helped me create the Prop Tech Council kind of thing, the brand itself, and breaking barriers for you?
Yeah. That's how yes. I started the council on LinkedIn. So I created a group on LinkedIn, and there is power in groups, by the way. The social media groups are very, very powerful. But that's how it was years ago. I just created a group on LinkedIn and started getting an enormous amount of interest. And when I did that, I realized I'm like, oh, I really have something. Strategy to do anything. I shouldn't do with your time. Now that you have AI, you can test multiple strategies and marketing messages and all of them. You know what revenue in the way that you in the real world. We started there on LinkedIn. I've been for about 8 years. I was a real estate lending ago. I was a real estate ago. Then I real estate wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of people in this room, but people have a podcast, because of noise, and when you have to find something else to do, why even do the podcast? To do it, and a lot of people don't stick with it. Like 150 episodes show is great. Like I'm on, I don't even know which one I've been on, but they're all on my YouTube channel, so they're all there. Yeah.
So, it's funny you bring it up. I really don't get caught up with the amount of people that come into this room anymore because I look at what we do on the other side. This is just a very small piece of what we do from the social media perspective for the podcast. So, as we speak, this was actually placed in 300 Facebook groups live. Okay. It's also on LinkedIn live, and then it's on YouTube live. So our viewership on this podcast is roughly 3 to 4,000 people a week. So like I don't get caught up with the whole clubhouse thing. This is just a tool that I'm using currently. That might change. It all depends on when we get to the 150 or the 200th episode. So we'll see where that all shape shifts itself. But short answer to what Amy was saying, LinkedIn and Facebook are the SEO authority and brand credibility, and Google trusts both of them for community reach as well as engagement and retargeting. If your goal is to rank and build authority and attract serious investors, LinkedIn is actually the more priority than Facebook. If your goal is visibility, community, and deal distribution, Facebook supports that ecosystem. Okay. So how does social media actually impact SEO, right? Social media platforms do not directly pass SEO rankings use like backlinks. Instead, they influence SEO indirectly, like brand searches, content indexing, and discovery, authority signals, referral traffic and dwell time, and backlink opportunities. LinkedIn is probably the highest SEO authority and trust signal. Why LinkedIn matters more for SEO? High domain authority. Profiles often rank on number one of Google. Strong alignment with experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Ideal for long form thought leadership, articles, carousels, native posts. So you got to look at what are you trying to accomplish as a real estate professional. So if you're just a real estate investor, which is nothing wrong with that, you're a real estate professional. So you really want to show well on LinkedIn as much as Facebook. When I meet people at networking events, I don't ask them to connect with me on Facebook. I ask them to connect with me on LinkedIn because it's a truly professional profile. They'll see my entire resume, all my accomplishments, my newsletter, my posts. Very important. Facebook, I do the same thing, but it's more personalized. Right? I already have 3 Facebook profiles. I really don't want a fourth. So it's a lot of work maintaining all this, which is good, and it gets me business from many different directions. But if at the end of the day, if Facebook just disappeared, LinkedIn would be my holy grail with real estate professionals throughout the country, throughout the world, for that matter. So these are just some additional thoughts. I really feel like your resume is your LinkedIn profile, and then everything, it's your Google business profile, it's your LinkedIn profile, and you transpose that content and you put it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever else you want to put it. But it all starts from Google and LinkedIn to Facebook. Does that make sense? And I hope it does. So we're going to go to our next young lady here this morning. Good morning, Linda. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion, SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand 2026.
Joseph, good morning, everyone. So nice to be here. My name is Linda Pliagas, and I'm the owner of Realty411.com. We're a media company providing news and information for real estate investors and for our industry. We produce magazines, virtual and live events, plus webinars, all in an effort to help real estate investors on their journey. Now, as far as capitalizing on SEO, business grow, it's important to stay persistent in your marketing. Writing solid content about your field and tagging the post properly will help your SEO. Be sure to tag the post correctly by adding the proper keywords when you're tagging your post. For example, if your post is about finance, tag your post with different financial terms that can be found in your post. If you've interviewed someone, be sure to include their name in the tag as well. Now, the wonderful thing about social media platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook is that they all have a very high SEO ranking. So, just like Joseph said, by posting regularly on these platforms, you can also increase your SEO ranking. I like what Joseph also said about separating your professional and your business profiles. I think that's important because we're not all about business. As human beings, we have a lot of interests. So I think it's wonderful to also post, and to have a personal um, platform as well, and not just all business. Now, be sure to also Google your business and claim it on the Google platform. This will allow you, as the owner, to add photographs, correct any listing information, and make sure that your Google listing contact and information is accurate, up to date, and correct. Those are some of the some of the thoughts I had on SEO. Very important to use proper keywords when posting. I think that's very crucial. And optimize your meta tags as well. Having a headline like your one headline, your second headline will also help as well. So these are just some of the thoughts that I had. Back to you, Joseph.
Linda, thank you. Some thoughts, just some questions more so. What are you doing differently that you feel like didn't really work in 25, going into 26 on the SEO side? Are you guys looking at newsletters on or some type? Is everything going online with you at this point? That's my question. Like, where are you going to take Realty 411 and 26? What's your game plan? At least first quarter.
Okay, well, that's a great question. I am going to continue the same strategy. We would like to add a podcast. We used to have a podcast several years ago, but on Blog Talk Radio.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that got taken down. So one of the things we would like to do is incorporate, like Amy said, a podcast that's really beneficial for SEO. But everything else, we're just going to continue and go full steam ahead. And while I love SEO, I think there's nothing better than meeting people in person. So we're going to continue to do as many events as we can and just to connect in person because one of our goals is to meet everyone that follows us on social media on a personal one-to-one level.
Yeah, I think it's about ownership, man. It's not all about the traffic. It's all about consistent good content. And I know you really put a lot of work into your virtual as well as live events. And that's where we're spending some more money coming up into the new year. So like with Lehigh Valley, North Jersey, Harrisburg, and what's the other one? We're Philly. Sorry about that. So Philly, we're now having two events. We're having that the second Monday, second Saturday, because a lot of people just don't have that availability on Monday evening. So we do a second Saturday where it's a little more comfortable, and that's more of a podcasting environment and one-on-one interview with more of a mastermind surroundings. What I've done differently with all these events is make them more mastermind oriented by really making people feel comfortable. Nobody's standing, they're just kind of sitting down around in a more of a circle-like environment and feeling more comfortable to engaging. And we have it all on video. We cut and clip it and put it onto our podcast as well. And I'm actually enhancing our newsletter on LinkedIn. So we're putting out a lot of good content. And this is the most important thing. If you're going to put out a newsletter and somebody's going to respond to your post, your blog, or your newsletter, make sure you take the time to respond to that. Make sure you take the time to discuss the matter with them. The personalized piece is just as important as the post. If somebody's going to respond to you in a positive manner, respond to them in a professional response. Okay, that's important. I think the follow-up is everything in first quarter of 26. Like somebody called me yesterday afternoon. I picked up the phone around 2 o'clock, and they're like, "Wow, you picked up on the phone on a Saturday." I'm like, "Sure, why not? I'm sitting in front of a laptop. Why not take your call?" It was an application, and we were able to put it together, and I put out terms to them. And I think that will separate me from the rest of the herd that's out there. Somebody's not taking the call at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, is following up and following through. So I think the biggest thing about SEO, you can have a great SEO presence, but if you don't follow up with people and you don't engage with them, they don't feel like you're being personalized with them, and they feel like it's kind of like separating yourself from the real world. So communication is everything. Like when I walk into an event, like I was at an event Friday night with a bunch of developers, gentleman came up, "Hey, I saw your newsletter on that you posted on LinkedIn. It really took me." And we had a great conversation. He's a neighborhood. He runs a neighborhood association. We went into a deeper discussion. We talked about a couple things. I sent him information based on our discussion. So I got very personalized in responding back to him after we met in person. You got to think about all this through with the SEO. You got to follow up and follow through on everything. Think about that. It's not just about posting newsletters and information and content and promoting who you are. It's about the follow-up when somebody inquires quickly and professionally. Felix, good morning. Thank you for your patience. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand 2026.
Grand Rising, Joe. Grand Rising, everybody. Happy Sunday. Buchanan Biz Enterprises, the JLix Group, and I'm team leader of the Keller Williams team in Baltimore, Maryland. SEO optimization is very important in your business. I didn't fully learn about this until maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, how important it was, because I was that face-to-face person, even though that's still relevant and important. But just being consistent, a lot of the things that you guys said, using the proper systems that are going to follow up after you put your information out there, keywords, making sure that your information is credible, because just because everybody is consistent, everybody doesn't always put out the proper information. Just making sure that you are on the proper channels, your message is clear, people know exactly what you're doing, what you're about, how to get back in contact with you. Of course, using AI, because the follow-up with AI, I use Go High Level, could pretty much do everything in there, as well as having the chat bots or the different bots in general to respond to things that's going to provide the information as if you would, because you provided it what it needed to, so that if in the event you were unable to reach out to that client yourself, your AI is providing the proper information to that person and then allowing you to follow up after the fact if in the event the information wasn't clear enough to them, they didn't understand, or just needed that follow up to hear from a human person. Using all of those platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, TikTok, YouTube, just making sure that they tag into each other so that your messages are clear, it's streamlined, that if somebody went from one thing of yours to the next thing, it's no problems, they're not having any complications. And just being precise, making sure your things are clean, making sure that it's readable, making sure that when people have to type information into the computer, they can. Just making sure that you're consistent. Consistency is everything in anything that you do in this business. Credibility, integrity, and that's my wisdom and knowledge for the day.
You hit a couple good words there, Felix, and thank you. I've known Felix for quite a long time, close to almost 20 years now.
Yes,
I'm aging, Felix is not, so that's always good. Felix is getting younger, I'm getting older looking, but that's okay. It's fine. I'm okay with it. Hey, listen, he'll catch up. He'll hit a wall right away. It'll just happen. It's okay. But he brought up a very good term, credibility on your SEO as a real estate professional, right? Search engines don't rank titles, they rank trust. For real estate professionals, credibility, SEO is about proving you're a real expert, locally relevant, and consistently valuable. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple pointers how to build it out the right way, right? Publish deal level insights, case studies, numbers, lessons learned. There's nothing wrong with talking about mistakes made and how you fixed it, how you addressed it, right? Or using firsthand language. Okay. Longer dwell time, higher topical authority, better rankings for competitive terms. Own your niche. It's not everything real estate. Credibility skyrockets when your site screams specialist. Google trusts specialists more than generalists. And local authority signals, right? Local credibility equals rankings plus conversations. So fully optimize your Google business profile. Create market specific pages. Like we have a bunch of groups on Facebook that just cover the Northeast region, right? And we probably have 150,000 people in between all 6 or 8 of them. I'm not really sure. I don't even keep count anymore at this point. And I'm always posting there, always inviting people, welcoming people to put subject matter in, right? Review your social media currency. Okay. You have to look at quality and recency, right? Not just volume. And thought leadership is key. Brand searches equal ultimate credibility signal. Bottom line, credibility SEO isn't a hack, it's earned positioning. If Google sees that you are a real practitioner with clear specialization, backed by social proof, publishing useful and original insight, your win rankings and higher quality leads. Okay, this is very important. Like I have a game plan for first quarter, and that game plan might change in the second quarter, but I know exactly what I'm doing in the first quarter. Okay, and I'm gonna bury myself into those. And if I have to pivot, that's fine. I know January 2nd, day after New Year's, I'm hitting 600 newsletters nationwide for the podcast, for our mastermind strategy events, my white label course, as well as my lending. Once a quarter, ready to hit it hard. First month. I'm spending money in the groups, the events that we're holding on a monthly basis. We're enhancing some of those from an SEO perspective. My newsletter is going out once a day or every other day with a different subject discussion. I have the social media team that works with Yardell in putting out blogs and video work and the podcast and testimonials. We're always adding. We're always trying different things to make sure that we're staying completely relevant and people are feeling welcome, not just to call me or inquire, but to respond to the podcast or the subject matter that we're pushing out. And make sure you respond to every single inquiry. So it's difficult, but being consistent and being continuous, like what Felix is saying, it's like spirituality. You just don't go to church on Sundays. You think about church every day. That's true consistency. Mr. Bob Chesit, good morning. My late night colleague. We're going to do a 2 o'clock in the morning real estate event with Amy. We're going to all wake up 2 o'clock in the morning and do a midnight hour event on Clubhouse because Bob is inspiring me. Bob, good morning. Brief overview who you are, what you do. SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand in 2026.
What did you say?
Well, first of all, if I'm inspiring you to do a 2 a.m. Podcast, prepare to be very uninspired.
Amy, Bob called it. Hold on 1 second, Bob.
He wants a midnight snack.
Yeah, Bob. I would. Amy, Bob called me yesterday, and or the other day, and he's like, "Do you know there's this real estate event in Clubhouse at 2 o'clock in the morning? It's like 400 people." And I'm like, "Dude, I ain't going there. I'm not going at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I know my name at 2 o'clock in the morning."
Those are people that aren't really doing real estate.
Yeah.
Come on now, let's be real.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
That's pretty. That was obvious from the beginning. So anyway, my name is Bob Chesick, president of Chespin Corporation, helping people set up LLCs and corporations. I am not here to give legal or tax advice, as I'm not a lawyer or accountant. Before I dive into this, I just wanted, for anyone who was in the room last week when I was substitute hosting, and thank you for that opportunity, Joe. I just wanted to give an update. I did warn everybody about the New York LLC Transparency Act. that was basically a carbon copy of the former federal BOI reports. Late Friday evening, New York Governor Hochul vetoed the law, which is basically going to clip its wings and render it useless. I'll have more to say on that in a future room, but for those who are going to ask me a lot of questions about it, the veto just happened. So looks like New York finally woke up and realized, oh, you can't do that without everybody fleeing to the borders. So good news for real estate investors in New York State. Jumping back over to SEO, this has actually been an ongoing struggle for my company. And it's really been, I think, since the year 2007, because of something that happened completely out of the blue that has been messing up our search engine rankings and forcing us to brand slightly different than we want to as a result. If you go to Google or Bing or any of the other major search engines and you type the word Chespin, Chesspin, make sure there's 2 S's, and you hit search, what's going to happen is it's going to change the spelling, removing one of the S's, and you're going to learn everything you ever want to know about the Pokemon character Chespin. How that one showed up out of the blue is unbelievable to us, but it has been absolutely trashing any efforts for SEO because especially when Pokemon Go came out, it actually wrecked our marketing to the point where we actually discussed whether or not we would have to rename the company because we couldn't get anywhere on Google. So that's why you will hear me refer to Chespin Corporation rather than plain Chespin. Now, where the SEO then works in our favor, when people search Chespin Corporation, you'll immediately see our website, LinkedIn profile. You'll see the stuff that Joe put out when I was the guest speaker at events. Microsoft Bing, by the way, I know that that's kind of an unsung hero in the search world, but they heavily rely on LinkedIn for SEO. When you search my name or Chespin Corporation on Bing, you will see about 20 pages worth of all things Chespin going back decades, including articles I wrote on LinkedIn about a decade ago. They pop up very high on the rankings. Some of them I'm going to actually go back and refresh them. The entire website was indexed. And yes, by the way, I know if you click on it, you'll get a 403 error. I got to work on that when we're done with the podcast. I don't know why the site crashed, but I'll have that fixed in a few minutes. But all these things, like just looking at the search engines and the optimizations. Now, Google seems to really heavily lean into YouTube. Now, why would Bing lean into LinkedIn? Well, owned by Microsoft, and Google, of course, associated with YouTube. Shall we say, the Alphabet company. So the various search engines and their related AI tools do tend to give preference to, of course, their internal groups, even though they promised the feds they wouldn't do that anymore. So LinkedIn and YouTube are going to get you very, very high SEO rankings across the various mediums. I'll leave it to Amy to go over anything related to what's coming out of the AI stuff in terms of ChatGPT and the other ones. I'm not even going to pretend I understand how those rankings work, only that I've seen them substantially improved even just over the past couple of months. So that's one. So when Joe was saying, look at LinkedIn and everything, LinkedIn is a preferred source when you're talking business. You're not going to see as much Facebook stuff come up. You're going to see a lot of LinkedIn across all the platforms. So focus on it. If you're not using it, use it. Connect with the people in here. Follow the people in here. Connect with the people you know. Build your network full of people that will answer your messages. These are very important things. And one other note I'll make about it, going back to what Joe was saying about being highly available. One of the things we were very careful about when we did our profiles is if you look at our hours, you will see Monday through Thursday, 9 to 6, but Fridays, 9 to 3. You will also see that on various state federal holidays, it will be marked as closed. We have an autoresponder on our main phone number that will text you back during closed hours, offering you an opportunity to make an appointment to get a call back as soon as we're open. It is okay, even when you have to be highly available. We got Christmas coming up. People are going to be with their families. If you're not available on Christmas, it's okay. reasonable people will understand that Christmas is a holiday that a lot of people will be out of the office. So don't be afraid to take some downtime too, because if you're always on 24/7, you're going to burn out. Use tools to make it convenient so that people know, hey, got your message. We'll get back to you as soon as we're available. Just like the old answering machines. Nothing I said was intended as legal advice. Joe, back to you.
Bob, thank you. And I'll see you at 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning for our exciting discussion on real estate with 300 people.
I will keep myself muted as I respond to that.
So what's the top struggle in 26 for SEO and real estate professionals going into the new year? I really think it's high intent local search. Search algorithms prioritize user intent and authority. Generative AI is good, but you got to put some heart to it as well. And the competition is going to get heavy with AI. You know what I mean? Like if you're not using it right now, you're way behind, right? I have Grok and ChatGPT and a couple other AI tools live all the time. I'm doing something to push information out, and making sure I'm staying relevant to articles and inquiries. Somebody just did an inquiry on one of my posts on LinkedIn. He wants to set up a call just as we're on this podcast. Okay, so you got to be hyper relevant and very personalized results, right? Getting found for the exact searches that matter by people ready to make a real estate decision in your service area, right? You're not trying to talk about other markets all the time. You say, I'm more of a nationwide direct lender, so I gotta kind of talk from a 50-foot level. As a real estate agent, you have to be very hyper focused in your local market or regional market, right? You got to be common symptoms of struggle I see with agents and brokers that I often see. Lots of vague traffic but low conversions. Bad rankings for transactional terms like homes for sale near me, or poor map rankings despite having profiles. Missed opportunities in voice and mobile search. Sometimes when I do a search for a real estate agent, I cannot find their phone number for the life of me, or their email. Like, how do you not have that available online? Like, I find it numerically impossible. I also find where I see a lot of real estate agents or professionals don't have a completed LinkedIn profile. Oh, I don't think it's that important. Yes, it is. There's a lot of money on LinkedIn. Like, you're missing out. Like, huge money, not little money, big money, like real players. Okay, anybody that's worth their salt is in LinkedIn. You got to dominate high intent local keywords. Instead of broad keywords like I'll give an example, Philadelphia real estate agent, because I'm in Philadelphia. Go narrow, buy rental property, Philadelphia 3% cap, or best investment property agent in South Philly, or townhomes for sale, Center City and ADU potential, or how to do it. Run competitor keyword gap analysis. See what your competitors are doing. Map keywords to stage of buyer intent, prioritizing transactional long tail phrases. And the person that can have more of an AI customer service answering your calls if you're not available is important. To get what are they calling you for? Get the specifics so you're prepared for a call instead of them throwing a grenade over the fence with no pin in it and you're playing catch with it. Be prepared, right? Be ready. Right? If you're not available to take the call right away, at least know what they're calling about so you understand the inquiry so you can prepare yourself. Delivering meaningful content, not surface level stuff. Again, I keep going back to the local authority signals. Very, very important. Measuring your success in 26 on SEO, tracking outcomes, not just rankings, organic leads, click on high intent terms, Google business actions, map pack rankings, conversion rate from the search to calls and contact forms. Like, we're starting a text messaging campaign this week, and I'm starting off with just what's in my cell phone. Okay, I just want to see what the stop rate is, what the engagement, what the open rate is, and then I'm going to open it up to my database because I have 200,000 people plus in my database. So we're going to do it in gradual steps of 5,000 at a clip because I want to see what the results look like. What are the good or the bad or the ugly, right? You really need to understand the whole picture in communicating with people. The follow up, the follow through, the email blasting, the newsletters, the brand, the follow up, your picture, text messaging, AI. There's so much moving parts. And as Amy was saying, it's not expensive. Like if you really asked me what my budget was per month for all what I'm doing, from the podcast to the marketing of my lending to the marketing of my events, it's not as bad as you think. Okay, you got to just weigh out cost benefit relationship to everything, whether it's an event to attend. Now, I can give you a really good example. I'm not joining organizations in the new year. I'm just attending as a guest every one I go to, because I have found the cost benefit relationship of being a member of an organization instead of just an attendee is the same results. I know how to work a room and network myself. I don't have to be a vendor to do that. I'd rather be that ninja in the room and work the room, meet as many people as possible. Introductions, it's all in the follow up. Being the vendor doesn't always make a lot of sense. Being an attendee and being present is, I think, more important, and that ties back into SEO. If you're not doing it, you're not going to. There's nothing. If you're going to do it once a week, you're not going to get any results. You got to be very, 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 very consistent with what you're doing. And I offered everybody in this room, why haven't we done a one-on-one podcast? Why haven't we promoted your company or your brand on our podcast? I extend that to all our listeners. All you got to do is email me. I need your brief bio. I need a professional picture. I need a very strong subject tied into who you are and what your why is. And 12 questions to 15 questions. Like Linda could tell you, she introduced me to one of her vendors, and I was very specific. And I narrowed it down. We're going to have a great subject. We're going to schedule it for February 8th. Done. It was a back and forth a little bit. I cleaned it up a little bit. I got it back to her, and the young lady is very excited about the opportunity. You need to be engaging with people. If I'm offering that, take advantage of it. You don't know who's in my network, and I don't know who's in your network. So collaboration on video. And then why haven't you done a interview with Amy? She has a podcast. Or why haven't you gone on to a video seminar with Linda? I mean, these are two young ladies that are offering these opportunities to everyone in this room that's listening. Amy, some final thoughts to our discussion this morning. SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand 2026.
The AI becomes more and more of the search tool. Google now. You need to understand the differences between traditional SEO and what an AI tool will return that people are starting to look at. And what's critical in that is because all of the LLMs, third-party material, what's really important. Article that someone else is you control your SEO. Or so you mentioned in Linda's magazine, all they look as high value. Having a podcast is great. They can say that third party. So there's a lot of them. If you want to know what they are, go ask LLM. Hey, if I were, how would I in your place? I work for you. Need to be more and more cognizant of this is where it's kind of going. Most searches are now Google over to LLM searches, and so it's really going to appear there. So that's the last technical.
You? And do you have a room after this?
I do. We're going to be talking AI agents and automations after this. So yes, I do.
Excellent. Linda, final thoughts to SEO marketing strategies for real estate brand in 2026.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Yes, my final thought is with a little planning, research, and dedication, your SEO can be top notch and you can become a market leader. Also, one final thing I would like to mention, be sure that your website is mobile friendly. Most people are using their phone now to look at stuff online, not a desktop. So make sure that your website is mobile friendly.
Thank you, Linda. And
Thank you so much.
thank you. And Felix, your final thoughts to SEO marketing strategies for real estate brand 2026.
Oh my God.
Final thoughts. Oh,
I would say just be consistent. As Linda just said, make sure you have a plan. Definitely make sure that it is mobile friendly. And that's my wisdom and knowledge.
there you go, sir. And Bob, your final thoughts to our discussion this morning, and final thoughts to a 2 o'clock in the morning workshop on real estate on Clubhouse.
So just as I thanks, you threw me there. So basically, as I said earlier, pay attention to what where you're popping up on the various searches between the search engines, the new the AI chatbots. Wow, Joe, you really threw me. Words out. Trying not to laugh. So pay attention to that, and also as and I'm sorry, I believe it was Linda just said. Make sure that your website is mobile friendly. One of the things we discovered on our website was there was a bug that the menu at the top of our page couldn't be opened on a mobile site. It was a bug in the coding, and it seems to be a widespread problem. So it actually required us to go back and redo a lot of the back end engine of it to make it work. After doing a temporary fix that just made it look horrible. So make sure you are mobile optimized, make sure you're able to be found. And really, a lot of the listings that I said that I was finding on Google and Bing for myself and for my company, a lot of it was stuff that Joe had put out, just promoting the fact that I would be giving presentations at various groups around the Philadelphia region. So the third party stuff does matter. Just make sure that when you're putting stuff out there, you're promoting yourself in a positive light, that other people can easily find it and know how to contact you and know when you'll be available if you're not always going to be available. Those are my final thoughts. Joe, back to you.
You didn't give us a final thought to the 2 o'clock in the morning discussion with you, me, and Amy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I had mute on when I said that.
Well, guys, my final thoughts to SEO marketing strategies for your real estate brand in 26. As we move into 26, SEO is no longer a traffic game. It's trust, intent, and an authority game. The real estate brands that win won't be the loudest or the biggest. They'll be the most relevant, credible, and locally embedded. The mindset shift here matters most. SEO in 26 is not about ranking everywhere. It's about being the obvious answer for the right person in the right market at the right moment. Some core principles that you need to make sure you anchor for your SEO strategy: brand and keywords, local authority beats national noise, intent beats volume, AI rewards clarity, not fluff. Conversation is the new ranking. What top real estate brands will do differently in 26? Build one strong digital hub instead of scattered platforms. Create content around real estate investor and buyer questions, not trends. Aligning SEO with Google business, reviews, social proof, and events. Treat SEO as a long-term asset, not a monthly task. Measure success by leads, conversations, and deals, not rankings alone. Bottom line, SEO in 26 is about certainty. When someone searches, you're visible, your message is clear, your expertise is undeniable, your brand feels trustworthy. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional positioning, consistent execution, and market-specific authority. If your real estate brand becomes the clearest guide in your niche, SEO stops feeling competitive and starts feeling inevitable. I want to thank our vendors, people that have supported us, our moderators, as well. But Linda at Realty 411, Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, Real Estate Mastermind Strategies with our events, Lend Investor Capital, where I'm a nationwide direct private lender. We're here every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing insight, strategy, and hopefully expertise in every single subject that we provide. We're booked out right now to the end of February. And again, I extend everybody an opportunity to do a podcast interview. Let's get it done. Let's just get it done. We'll do it on a Saturday where there's not as much, noise and things of that nature. We spend a half hour in putting together the right marketing tool for you to get into 26. And my final thought and quote, as always, the best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. And let's stay in touch with one another. Have a blessed Sunday. Great week. We got a great week ahead. We got some great subject matter finishing off the year. We got a great subject follow-up with Amy in her room after this event. I want to thank everybody and have a great day. Be well, and I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds.